Hello, welcome to today's tutorial video on how you set up FivePD and a FiveM server. So this is going to go over everything from creating the FiveM server itself to getting FivePD set up with its databases and everything else needed to make the plugin and resources work. Very, very appreciated of the FivePD people and all the people who put this together and everything. Thank you for letting me make the video. Thank you for giving me suggestions on what I should include in the video. Very, very appreciated. If you want to get involved with the FivePD project, you can go to the GTA Police Mods website. You're going to have to create an account to download FivePD in this video anyway. So if you want to come and check it out, I've left our referral link down in the description. If you don't want to use it, no big deal, but if you want to use it, it does show that we did help out and got you to the site and invited you. So use it if you can. Other than that, I'm going to get straight into the video, get setting up and everything. If any parts are confusing, make sure to leave your problem down in the comments and I'd be happy to help. Also, if you want to subscribe, we are going to be coming out with a lot of FivePD and FiveM content, including some development of resources and add-ons for it. So make sure to stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get straight into the video. Hello everybody, welcome back to today's video. Today we are going to be checking out how you can create a FiveM server and install the brand new FivePD resource, which is absolutely amazing. I highly suggest you download and check this out. So we're going to go through everything from downloading FiveM to getting the server running, to getting FivePD up, getting the databases running, all of it. So this is going to be an extra long video compared to what I normally release here on the channel. So just make sure you are prepared for that. I know this is also different than the typical content we create here, and I do apologize that I may not have given everybody warning about this, but we're not getting rid of the other content on the channel. This is just extra content for everyone to enjoy. Anyway, so we're just going to get started. The first two things you're going to need is you're going to need Visual C++ or Visual C++ and Git. This is Git. It allows you to do things for GitHub or Git itself on your Windows PC. I'll leave the links to all of these down in the description below, so you can click on them and just download them yourself really quickly. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is create a new directory in our some folder. I recommend doing it in your main directory of like C server, just so it gets a little easier in terms of finding it every time you open up your computer. So we'll go ahead and do that now. I'm going to open up my local disk C folder. You just go to your local disk and you are in this folder. You're going to create a new folder and I'm going to name it like FiveM, and that's just going to be named FiveM because it's going to be my FiveM server. Just double click it and you're now inside of your FiveM server. Next thing you need to do is download the latest master branch. So you're going to go to this link, which is also down in the description below, and it's just latest branch download. You get your server down here. And then you just go into your FiveM folder, and I'm going to create another folder in here called server. And then you're just going to open up and unzip your file here. I recommend using WinRAR for this, and just go ahead and put all of this into the server folder. Make sure there's nothing in this folder, put it all in the server folder. So it's going to move over, and there you go. All of your server files are now in your server folder. You can go ahead and close this. You will no longer need this artifacts window either, so you can go ahead and close that. Next thing you need to do is actually clone the data from Git. So I'm going to create a new folder in here again called server-data. And then I'm going to open up here, right click, go to git bash here, and it's going to open up this command prompt. Make sure you have, if you don't see this option, you haven't installed Git, so make sure to install that before beginning. Then you're just going to type git clone, and then paste in the GitHub link for the FiveM server, which is github.com/citizenfx/cfx server-data.git server data. Press enter, and it's going to clone all of that server data into that folder. And there you go, it's done. You can close this just like that. And you can see in here, you now have the resources folder, the Git folder, and the README. And of course, I would recommend reading the README if you have any questions on how you do any of this, or if you want to do it on Linux or anything else, along with their policies are all available there. All right, so after that, we actually need to make our server.cfg file. So you're going to right click, create a new text document. Make sure you have, well, before you do this actually, to make it easier on you, click this down arrow, go over to view, and make sure you have file name extensions clicked, because this will allow you to see it. And then you're going to go right click, new text document. Then instead of creating the text document, you're just going to delete it all. So there's no file extension or anything, and you're going to make it server.cfg. enter, it will say you want to change this file name, press yes, and you can see it's changed. And you want to right click and either edit with Notepad++ or open with WordPad or something. I recommend installing Notepad++ for this. It will make it your job a lot easier to do. So now we actually are going to paste in something into that server CFG to make the server work. So in order to get your server.cfg files and everything, you're going to go scroll down and you're going to see an example here. It's going to say an example CFG file. You're just going to copy this whole thing here and Control C or right click and press copy. Go into your server.cfg, edit with Notepad++, and paste it in. Save the file, and you now have your server.cfg file. And you can see you can change the IPs, what your loading of resources, if script hook V is allowed, if your recon password. Recommend changing this. All of the stuff can be configured in here. So the next thing we actually have to do is set our license key for keymaster. This is important because nothing will work unless you set this. So in order to get your keymaster, you're going to actually go to keymaster.fivem.net, and you'll need to make it a FiveM account in order to do this. This screen will also be very blurry for you right now because I'm hiding all my IP addresses and all my keys from you because I don't want to be hacked or anything. So pretty much in order to do this, you're going to click it will say once you're logged in, you currently have blank keys. You'll probably have 0 if this is your first time. You can still register infinite servers. So just click register, and it will go ahead and create a new key or new pop-up for you. And of course, it's going to make me sign in again because this is how this works sometimes. So make sure to sign in, and it will go ahead and sign in using the Forums account. So you'll have to have a Forums account in order to sign in. If you don't have a Forums account, when you press sign in, it's going to ask you to sign in again. So then you'll see label, server IP, and pick a type. So our label will be like YouTube home server or something. So if you're hosting at home, that's what this will be. We'll skip the server IP for now, and we'll come back to that in just a moment, but we're going to pick the server type of home hosted. You either have the options of doing home hosted, dedicated server, VPS, or server provider. Please note, FiveM only allows you to home host your own dedicated server or VPS, or use their certified server hosting provider from Zap Hosting. You cannot use any other hosting provider to host a FiveM server. We're going to be doing home hosted. Now you may be wondering, how do I get my server IP address? Well, this is important to get. You need to go to a new tab, type in what's my IP4 address. Make sure you put IP4 address. Don't ignore your public IP address up here, because this is just going to be a bunch of random numbers and letters normally. Go to the first one, which is whatismyip.com. Open this up. And you can see my public IP4 address is this. It will be blurred for you because I don't want to be hacked, but you'll see it right here. You're just going to copy this, right click, copy your IP address, go back to your keymaster server, go ahead and paste it in, complete the CAPTCHA, press generate. It's going to take a moment to load while it checks all your IPs and everything else and loads it into the database. And you can see down here you have your new key. So you're going to right click or highlight, copy, and then you're going to put this key inside of your FiveM server file down here. Please note, by the time this video comes out, I've deactivated this key, so you can't use it. I'm showing it so you can see what it looks like, but by the time this video comes out, it's deactivated, you can't use it, it's not going to work. So don't even try. Please, don't try. So there you go, you got that set up. Now we're going to move on to the next step, which is, if you go back to your install instructions, after you've set that up, you can go ahead and set the license key in your server file. We just did that. It seems like there's parentheses here, but there's no parentheses here. So we're going to go ahead and add the parentheses for this thing since it has it on the wiki page. If it doesn't work, we'll go back and change that, and then we can actually run the server. Now that we have added our license and we are ready to start our server, in order to do this, we have to create a starter.bat or a start.bat file, which actually executes the server. So we can do this in we have to do this in the server folder. So you go into the server folder, we click new, go down to the text document, name it start, and then you can go over here, delete the .text extension and change it to a .bat. Make sure you press yes to this, right click, edit with Notepad++ or with WordPad, whatever you use. Now this is where we're actually going to have to write some different things depending on the directory you're in. So the first thing you have to do is type cd/d and then space, and then this is where we're going to actually get our actual server data folder. So you're going to go to FiveM over here, you're going to go to server data, server data again, since it duplicated the server data for me, and just paste that in the first line. Then on the second line, you're going to go back over to the FiveM server folder, copy this, put a backslash once again. You're going to go down to where you see the fxserver.exe, so you're going to type in fxserver.exe, and then you're going to do space, press exec, I'm sorry, plus exec, and then server.cfg, like that, and just save that. So what this is saying is it's inside of our server data folder over here. It's going to execute the server folder over here, and that's all we have to do. Save, close. Then if you want, I'm going to delete the one I have on my desktop already. You can go to the server folder, right click your start.bat and press create shortcut, and then you can drag this to your desktop and name it like FiveM server or something, and you can start it from in here. So when you double click this, it's going to start up. Since we have got our license key, it's going to say you have successfully set your license key, authorization, and everything else. It's going to load up, and it's loaded up, and you can see all our resources have started, and we are ready to install FivePD. So very exciting. We have everything loaded up here and good. So you're going to go ahead and close this out for now. So now we know our server works and everything, we can install the next portion of it. And in order to install resources and other things, it would be in your server data folder under resources, and you can install them here and edit the server CFG to your liking. So in order to install FivePD, you're also going to need a few things. So if you take a look at their install instructions, which I highly recommend you do, because this might have been updated since we have seen this and has the video come out, because they update almost every single day, you're going to want to make sure you have the latest version, of course. So you can see we're going to download, set it up, and we're going to just set up a database. So we're going to go ahead and get the database set up before we actually do any of this, so we don't have to worry about any errors or anything like that. But we are going to download this at first, and just make sure you have read all of this. Press agree and download, and then make sure you're on the latest version, so 1.03 or 1.0.2.1. I believe the latest is 1.03, so I'm going to go ahead and download that. Yes, it is. So I've downloaded that. While it downloads, I'm going to go ahead and open it, because I do have fast internet. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and open it, and you can see there's two files. There's FivePD and FivePD SQL. We'll go ahead and actually set up the resource first. So you just drag the FivePD folder into your resource folder, go over to your server data, go to server.cfg, edit with Notepad++, and then just add at the top it could be ensure, or sometimes it's start, depending on your operating system, and just put FivePD. Just like that, save, close. That's all you have to do here. Then you're going to go to your resource folder, FivePD, and then your config.json file, and this is what we're going to edit next. So we're going to edit our database info. That's where we're doing it next. So we're going to go ahead and set that up now. So in order to get your database, you want to save this FivePD.sql file to your desktop. We're just going to save it over there. You don't have to worry about it. It may not have this icon for you. That's not a problem at all. So in order to set up a database, we're going to need XAMP, or I have no clue how you pronounce this software name, but this is what you're going to need. You're going to need to download the latest one for your operating system. For me, I'm going to download just the top one, because this is the most used one, and you can see it's downloading here. And then we're going to set this up. So they recommend you set this up in the same type of place you set up your local disk C. You can see I already have it installed, but I'm going to make a second folder and install it again. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and open up the installer, press yes to the administrator permissions. It requires administrator permissions to install. Then it's just going to load up here. It's going to take a little bit. You can see it's going to load up. Important. Yeah. Press next. Press next. Make sure this is selected. We don't need a mail server. We don't need really anything else. We don't need fake send mail or any of that. Make sure the only things we need is phpMyAdmin and MySQL. So you don't actually need any of the rest of those. Not needed. Just press next, and then this is where you're going to select the folder you want to install it in. You can see it's by default installing in the XAMPP folder, but I'm just going to put that XAMPP2 because I already have the XAMPP folder in here. And just click next, then select the language you want. I would just uncheck this. You don't need to learn more about it. Press next, press next. It's going to install. It takes a little bit of time to install, but it's not that bad. You can see it's creating the folder down here, and it's installing everything. So this is where we're going to go next, and we're going to create our databases and users and everything that's required to get the server up and running and working. We no longer need the XAMPP folder back here, and we're just going to close that and leave this minimized for now. while it unpacks and installs. One thing I wanted to note, if you need support with any of this, please let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to help you out with stuff. Also, you can also ask on the FivePD website or the FiveM website, depending on what point you get stuck at. And we have a lot of FivePD and FiveM content coming out soon, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So we are just going to wait for this to install, and I will be back once it installs. So once this has installed successfully, a window like this will pop open. Then you just click Start on both Apache and MySQL. It will ask for administrator privileges sometimes. If it does ask, just approve it. The next thing you're going to do is just click this little admin button next to MySQL here, and it's actually going to open a web tab for you. And this web tab normally will be at localhost/phpMyAdmin. For mine, I have a different port running for phpMyAdmin, so it will change, but by default, it will be at localhost/phpMyAdmin. So if you have any issues with this, make sure to leave it down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to help out. Some of the stuff on this page will be blurred because I have personal databases on here for my local host developing testing. So in order to create a new database, which we're actually going to use, you just click the new button right here, and the database name, I'm just going to name FivePD, and just click create, and then you can see I am in my database here. Now, in order to import all of the SQL files you're going to need, you just click the import button, and then you're going to just go ahead and drag, you don't need this folder open anymore, you're going to go ahead and drag that FivePD SQL file we have on our desktop here over to this import button, and just drop it in. You can see it's uploaded. Just press go at the bottom, or you are fine here because it already said success. Go back to structure, and you can see it has imported our database, which is pretty cool. So if you get an error when uploading or anything, just read the error message, see what it says. You can look up on Google the solutions for it, or ask down in the comments below. So you can see it's gone ahead and loaded in everything we needed for the plugin to work. Now it's time to get our database usernames and passwords and everything to get in here. So our database name is FivePD. So over in our server directory, which I'll go ahead and open up once again, our server directory is in our local disk, and it's under FiveM or whatever you saved it under, and then server data, resources, FivePD, and then you can go to the config.json file. Go ahead and open this again, and we're going to edit it. So you can see by default the database name is FivePD, which is what we named ours, so we're good there. We're running on localhost, so 127.0.0.1 is localhost with the default port of 3306. That is all that does. Now you can go back to the home page and click user accounts if you want to create a user account and get in. So by default, I have a bunch of user accounts here, but I'm going to create a new one for this. So I'm going to add a user account. Its username is going to be FivePD, because why not? Its host name, this is the allowed IP addresses. I'm going to leave it as all IP addresses can connect to it, and I'm going to name it FivePD password or something, or I'll just name the password password. Extremely weak, yes, I'm aware. Password is password. And then authorization page, you can just do that. You can generate a password if you want. And then I'm just going to grant all privileges with this username for everything and give it all global privileges and everything to connect. So that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to press go at the bottom, and it's going to have created it. Then in our file down here, our username is now FivePD. Our password is password. Please don't use password as a password. Press save, and you have set this up. Now, in order to see if this works, we're going to go ahead and start our server through our start fivem.bat file here, and we're going to see if it loads up. So you can see successfully loaded the database and connected to the database and loaded everything up. Yay! It's time to try connecting. So go ahead and open up your FiveM, and we're going to go ahead and try to join the server and see if it worked successfully. So we're going to keep this over to the side here. You're not going to really need this, or you can minimize it. It's fine. We're going to load up FiveM and see if we can connect and show how we can go on duty and stuff inside of FiveM, which is very cool. So can't wait to see that. Anyway, so let's keep going, get through, and yeah. Here we go, loading up. Come on, FiveM. There we go. Then you can go ahead and go to Direct Connect, and you can type in localhost because you're running it on your localhost machine, and it should allow you to connect. FX server, but unconfigured. We haven't set it up yet. Just press connect, and it's going to be requesting authentication ticket, and this should work. It may take a moment. Sometimes FiveM breaks, and it breaks stuff, but overall it should be fine. There we go! FivePD, we're in! Great job. So we are now loading into the server, and we're just going to make sure everything works once we get into it, and we'll go from there. So we're just going to load in here, just take a quick look. You may not have one sync over in the top right hand corner. No worries to do about that. Just download whatever release feels good for you. If you want one sync, enable it. If you don't, disable it. That easy. So it's loading in, some text number 2, some text number 3, some text 4, you know, it's just going to go through this loading screen. And of course, you can configure this to your liking in the configure files as well. So we're just waiting for this to load in. And of course, if you get issues with this, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. I'm just saying the same stuff over and over again at this point because I can't really say anything else while we're waiting here. Yes, here we go. So to follow us on Twitter if you need info. Of course, they're very supportive on their forums as well. So if you have problems with FiveM, contact FiveM support. If you have problems with FivePD, contact FivePD support. So you can see we are now actually on the loading in the map, which is very exciting. Please don't crash FiveM. That would be nice. There we go. Awaiting scripts, and we should spawn by a police station when we load in if everything has worked successfully. And we have. So we've spawned in next to the police department, and you can see in the top left-hand corner, it says FivePD version 1.0.3, you are off duty. In order to go on duty, press F11, and you can go ahead and just select on duty like that, and you can say on duty, you'll get a dispatch call right away, and it will now say you are on duty in the top left-hand corner. You can keep engine running, toggle cruise control or whatever. You can spawn vehicles from here. You can get loadout. So I'm going to just change my uniform to a default cop. Get loadout 1, which will give me just a default loadout inside of the game. You can refill all the armor and stuff, and you can get a police car if you wish. I don't have any custom cars installed. I'm going to turn off the radio so that doesn't break. I don't have any custom cars installed or anything, or any other resources, so it's just default FivePD. We're just going to see if it worked by pulling over some random person. Hopefully not every driver runs from me. It would be great if they didn't run from me. Oh, okay. So if you want to move the car forward, if they're idiots and they stop in the middle of the road, you can press Control 9, and you can see it created an arrow, and you can press the arrow keys to move it forward and press Enter for them to drive there. So that is a very nice feature because sometimes GTA characters are idiots and stop in the middle of the road. Of course, you can just press Control 9 and just select where you want them to go. So they're not complete idiots when stopping their car in the middle of the road. So obviously still in beta, still being worked on and all of that, but it's just how it works. So we can get out of our car and we can go get their ID, and we'll just see if this works. In order to interact with people when you're on traffic stops, you just press X and you can ask for ID, do breathalyzer tests. He's obviously drunk. Drug tests. I can order him out of the vehicle, get him free to go. And then if you want to run his name and stuff, you can go back to your police vehicle, press B when you are inside, and it will open up this menu. You can enter an admin code, so by default it is admin to unlock the feature to create a new department. To create a new department, this unlocks all the features, so I'm just going to create the LAPD. I don't really need to follow. This is all optional down here, and you can just click create. Just click join. So I'm now inside the department, and I can search for people's names. I can run people's license plates. I can see reports, call outs, call for backup, call services like prisoner transport, citations, settings, all of that stuff. So all that is now available to me inside of the car. So I can go over here and I'm going to actually arrest this person. So I'm going to go ahead and order them out of the vehicle, please. Thank you. And then to interact with them, you can press X once again, and I'm going to cuff and uncuff. So I'm going to cuff this person. You can see I'm cuffing them. And then if I want to put them in the back of my car, I can have them follow me. One thing I noticed is when they're following you, they actually get uncuffed. This is probably just something that they haven't added in yet. So just make sure to keep that in mind. And I'm going to just put them in the back of my car by putting left order or right order or something. If you want to call a tow truck, you can go over to the vehicle as well. And you can press U and you can press call for tow truck. And it will say dispatch, tow truck is on the way. And it will actually come and pick up the cart. There is ambulance, there is fire, there is tow trucks, there's coroners, and there is prisoner transport as well. So those are all available. So the tow truck you can see is over there. He's going to be on the way. I'm actually going to leave so I can show you how you drop off a prisoner over at the police station. So we're just going to head back over to the police station so I can show you how you drop a prisoner off from your vehicle into the police station, and it's that simple pretty much. So we're going to go over here. We're going to drop him off in the police station. So all you have to do is drive into this blue dot here, and they will magically be teleported into the police station. There they go. So they are now in jail, and you have arrested that suspect. And of course, if you wanted to actually create an arrest report, you can go ahead and press an arrest report, enter their name, where they were, the time of arrest, the fact, and upload the report to the database as well, if you want to keep a log of everybody you arrest and everything you do as well. Now, what if you accept a call out and something happens during the call out and you want to cancel it? Well, you can press Z. You can go ahead and cancel the call out or assistance. If you earn a call out, you can also open the backup menu with either pressing X and going to backups, code 1, code 99. So you can see code 99 requesting backup. So that will go out to every player who's on duty on the server. You can obviously cancel that as well. You can add nearby players to your call. So if a player is sitting next to you and you are like partners and you want to be on the same call, you can press add nearby players, and it will actually pop up in their callouts or backup tab inside of their MDT as well, which is pretty cool. So hopefully this was a nice little introduction to FiveM and FivePD for you. I'm sorry at points if it sounded a little confusing. Of course, you can ask questions down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Obviously, the forums is also a great place for you to get support and everything else. And yeah, I will see you all in the next FivePD and FiveM video coming out very soon, where we're going to go over a few of the other features and tests and everything. So make sure to take a look and check it out. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time, and enjoy your playing FivePD. See you later.